With so many champions to build in raids, sometimes the question is, where do I start? For today, we are talking about who should you make as your first level 60. Hey you guys, it's Cece. Welcome back to my channel. Now, when we're talking about building champions, eventually you are going to build a ton of level 60s. But the question is always, where do I start and how do I pick a champion I'm not going to regret? Because honestly, I feel like sometimes you will go ahead and level up a champion and you may not use them later on. So hopefully this video is actually going to break things down for you and help you out. And I know when you're starting the game, there are tons of areas you want to focus in on. You're getting into dungeons. You're also getting into arena. You want to beat your campaign. You're probably doing a bit on your faction wars and of course clan boss. So there are so many champions you're thinking about building. But honestly, early on, you don't want to spread yourself too thin and build too many champions at once. Your resources are going to go so fast. So what you want to do is actually simplify things for yourself and pick the easiest path, the easiest thing for you guys to do. And that is going to be to level 60 a campaign farmer first. This will be your most important level 60 that you make in this game, because getting a campaign farmer is just going to make your journey in the game that much easier. Now, normally I think the advice is typically build your starter, whatever starter champion, whether that was Kyle or Athel or Elaine or Gallic, any of them, one of them, if they're like, yeah, pick your starter, that is the one that you're going to 60 first. And honestly, you guys, I'm going to tell you not to do that. Especially starting off. I'm not saying don't build them completely. Maybe eventually you can build them and 60 them and maybe you'll use them as your campaign farmer. But honestly, in 2025 now, when you're starting an account in Raid, we are given much more than I'm sure when the game first came out or first started. You can get such good head starts in the game. For example, you download using my link. That one gives you a Leneral right away. I used her in campaign. She was one of my early ones that I actually picked and used, because I simply had her. I started off with the legendary day one. Remember, you guys can too. Down in the description box, you can start with her. Now, you also get to enter a new player code. At the time, the one that I picked was Wukong. So Sun Wukong is a champ that I picked and I used. But on top of everything, they also have the login champion right now. So simply by logging in for 7 days, you're gonna get yourself Michelangelo. So all of these champions are actually great potentials for you guys. And this is why I say, don't do your starter champ first. It is going to be more work for you to actually get them up here. With any of these legendaries, they're already 5-star, level them up to 50, and then you just need to bring them over to 60. So it is a lot less work for you guys to do. You may as well pick a legendary to 60 first. And I'm not just saying this to be like, oh, pick a legendary. Yeah, it's easy. But also because you are going to use these champions in other areas of the game. So honestly, you're looking at Michelangelo. He is actually a great attacker. He's a legendary. He's a good attacker. His aura is going to be accuracy in battle, so that might be something that helps you out. You have an increase for an attack buff. That's going to get you through campaign even faster. You also have a decrease on defense, which allows you to do more damage, which is great. You've got a stun in here, potentially a debuff spread in here. Now, of course, this is all going to depend on your gear quality. And starting out, you're not going to have the best gear quality. So champs are going to shine the better gear that they have, but these champs are not going to let you down early on. They'll do a lot for you. You even have an AoE in here. So even if this campaign farmer is not going to be the fastest, they're still going to be able to do a bit of work for you. You have a taunt buff on here as well, decrease for the attack buff, leech debuff, and then eventually when you ascend him, you're going to have a little bit more in here. But Michelangelo is a good option. You will continue to use him later on in game. Now, another potential, and one of the ones that I picked, was Sun Wukong, and that is because to this day, I still use this champion. I use mine in arena all of the time. So he's a 60 that I'm never going to actually regret doing. And he was my first one, and for good reason. He was my campaign farmer. I continued to use him actually in arena, and then eventually I picked a different campaign farmer. So if we're talking about Wukong now, his aura is going to be for arena, but he does have a stun on the first skill. He does have ignoring a target's defense. It's also nice because this is actually going to, if you select a target and you kill him, surplus damage is going to go to the other enemies, which is great. And then if he doesn't kill him, he'll sheep him, which will be helpful. Also has an AoE in here. So honestly, both of these guys are pretty good. The goal with campaign farming, of course, is to eventually make your way down to Brutal 12-3. this is the place that you are going to be farming. 12-3 is going to give you the amount of energy that you are putting in, the amount of EXP and silver getting out. The ratio is the best. So this is the place you ultimately want to farm. Now, when I had mentioned your campaign farmer and someone early that you want to use in other areas of the game, the reason for that is I guarantee that campaign farmer that you first build, your first 60, is not going to be the same campaign farmer you're using later on. So you want to pick one that you're probably going to be able to use in other areas of the game. Giving you guys an example, I started with Wukong. And the gear that I initially had on my Wukong was a lifesteal gear set because that did allow me at the time to be able to actually farm sufficiently with this campaign farmer. Arguably, he is going to be slower. He got it done for me and I made my way through, and eventually I was able to do this over and over. And that is why you want to build a campaign farmer as your first 60, because he or she is going to make your future farming that much easier. The goal is to bring that champ along with some fodder so that you can level the fodder up and make more 60s for yourself. So do yourself a favor, pick a campaign farmer first to 60. That is the one that you're going to use. But as I said, eventually you're going to swap them out. Giving you guys my example, I had Wukong in here. Yeah, he was able to use it, and I used him for the longest time until I started pulling other champions. And as I started pulling other champions is when I picked my dedicated campaign farmer. Now, this is going to vary account from account, but there's definitely some solid few campaign farmers that people use, whether that is Fellhound, whether it is Bellower, maybe you have a really fast Thor. There are a lot of different options in there. For myself, it's Bellower. I got him pretty early. I got a couple of them, so it was actually easy to get his skills up. I do like Bellower. He's got 3 AoE attacks, which is super helpful. I also managed to pull a 5-star perfect soul for him, which was even better. And I do continue to use Bellower elsewhere, but I don't use Wukong as my campaign farmer anymore. But I have no regrets taking Wukong to 60 because I still use him in arena. So in comparison, I'm using Bellower now, and if I take my Bellower in through this campaign to actually go ahead and run it, he's gonna do it a lot faster than my Wukong was able to do it. And he is now my dedicated campaign farmer. So that's why I say the one that you pick early on is probably not going to be the campaign farmer you're going to continue to use later on. I definitely swapped mine out for Bellower, but I'm happy because I'm still able to use Wukong. There are tons of different starter champs that you can actually pick from. And when I say starter champs, I mean the legendary from the promo code. So maybe you are not picking Wukong. He's the one, like I said, I pick him. I use him as my aura in arena, so I've continued to use him since then. But maybe you're picking Alice or Tuhanarek or one of those other champions, but I guarantee you're going to find some other place for them in-game. If you're not picking Wukong and it's not going to be PvP, then maybe it's going to be down in the dungeons. Any of the champs that you can really pick from are going to be beneficial for you in this game in some way, shape, or form. And I'm not saying those rare starter champs are bad or bad options or choices. I just think you can make your life a lot easier by picking one of the legendaries that you essentially get to start with in this game. It's going to make your progression that much faster as well, because you're not bringing a 3-star rare all the way up to 60. You're already starting with them at level 50, so it's actually not going to be that much harder to really bring them up. Instead, you can focus on training the fodder. And if at first you're not able to solo it with just that one champion, bring along one of those other legendaries. I definitely had to do that myself. I was bringing along my Wukong with my Eleanor to do some of the training, and eventually I was able to just use Wukong. And then as you saw, I eventually was actually able to swap that out for a future campaign farmer, but yet still find use for the one that I was using at the time. When it comes to actually making your 60, what you essentially will want to do is train up these green uncommons. You get them as a 2-star. You can either pull them from shards or buy them from the market, but these are the guys that you're going to want to train up until they are max level, which initially is going to be 20. Once you have them leveled up, go to your tavern, upgrade their rank, and then from here, you're going to go ahead and evolve them. So by upgrading them, now they're going to be 3-star, and then you're going to want to do the same thing over again. So once you have them at 3-star, go ahead, head back into that campaign mode, and then this time you're going to select those champions and level them up even further from there. This might seem like a daunting task, but this is going to be the easiest and most efficient way for you to essentially make your level 60s and making more fodder. It's really just taking those champions, leveling them up, upgrading their ranks, and leveling them again until eventually you have them at that level that you'll need, which will be to bring somebody up to level 50 or even to level 60. I hope this video helped you out in helping you pick who you want to level 60 first, whether it's some of the champions I talked about and why, and also letting you know why it makes sense for this to be your campaign farmer first. Remember, the goal of the game is to make things as easy for yourself as possible. If the video helped you out, then be sure that you do give it a thumbs up and subscribe for future videos to help you out in your raid journey. And I want you guys comment down below and let me know, who are you using as your current campaign farmer? I'll see you guys next time. Bye!